And when they told me I could die any day, then I said, well, sugar, let's go friggin' live. I'm not going to make your weakness stronger. I'm going to take your strength and make it strong. Where is there a moment, even a difficult conversation, that you're like, oh, I'm about to retreat because this is uncomfortable? Lean in.
Welcome to the Vitalist Podcast, where healing meets wonder. This is your space to gain transformative knowledge, deepen your mind-body connection, and awaken your human spirit. If you're ready to connect with your innate potential, embrace life's challenges, and expand what you believe is possible, this is the place. Get ready to slow down, be moved, and live like a true vitalist. Dar, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, my friend.
So good to see you in person again in the flesh, right?
I already feel at ease just being in your space.
That's good. All right. Well, let's get into this. My guest today is Darlene Santore, better known as Coach Dar. She's a leadership and mental edge health coach with the world-class athletes, CEOs, business leaders. She's even worked for the Phoenix Suns as their mental health coach. Her new book, The Art of Bouncing Back, dives into what it truly takes to thrive, even when life knocks you down. Today, we're going to unpack some resilience and not just mindset, but something that we can deeply wire into our nerve system and give us permission to access it all.
Yes.
So Dar, welcome. I have to start here. You've had 3 strokes in the past 24 years, and you're still coaching CEOs, champions.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. You bring so much energy to life. But tell me, how did you bounce through it, and how did you bounce back?
I think a good point to start is, yes, I definitely did go through that, and I wish I could say they got easier. The strokes got worse, but my resilience was better, and so I knew how to handle it. And I think part of that starts with, I watched my mother, who had to go through multiple surgeries during her life with her heart. This woman was so resilient. She'd be in pain and no one would know. And she would just go, she was a barber, so she'd get back up and she's like, if God still wants me here, I still have a purpose, like I'm showing up. And she made everyone that sat in her chair feel like they mattered. Yeah. And I truly believe in her getting up and serving gave her the ability to get back up, and she just had grit and resilience. And my other mentor lived through the Holocaust. She was 5, so I would hear these stories from her of this resilience, and it just got me to think, we as humans are so resilient. We have it within us to endure. It starts here and in here. So our mind and our heart. And I did not know I was going to need all this material and preparation. It was like foreshadowing for what was going to happen. Yeah. But then when I was 25, I had married my college sweetheart. I was working in the hospital as an occupational therapist in this world-renowned hospital. And we had bought a house. We had bought the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. And I could not wait to start a family, being Italian. Oh. And he was an all-American athlete. I was a good athlete. He was a great athlete. And I was like, we're going to have the sickest kids. They're going to be so good. Maybe they're going to play soccer or something, because we're not like that tall. Yeah. I'm definitely not. So that didn't happen, though, because when I was working at the hospital, I'd lifted a patient and I had sciatic pain. And I just thought, I went to PT, did everything that I could. I'm like, this thing will not heal. And come to find out now, later, I have this small little jut of a bone that comes off at the cerebellum, and that's actually what nicked it. Wow. But you wouldn't know that then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's this thing. I don't even know I'm bleeding when I leave, right? Yep. And I go, and it's not until I'm at work later, and the floor flips upside down, and the floor is the ceiling, the ceiling's the floor, and I'm like, whoa. What is going on? But you don't think at 25 you're having a stroke. And I didn't have paralysis. Even though I'm treating stroke and brain injured patients, these are not the typical symptoms. Yeah. So, and I'm getting pain in my head. But by the time I get down to the base of the stairs, I make my way down just by feeling, it cleared up. So I go, geez, I must have a sinus infection.
That's what you thought?
Yes. Because I'm like, oh, it's November. I'm like, people are getting sick or whatever. Yeah. So I remember calling my dad at the time because my husband was working. I'm like, Dad, could you pick me up? Something's off. And the long story short on that is they misdiagnosed it as a tumor where there was a blood clot. And then here's one lesson. Everyone knows their body better than others. And I just knew as they're going through this testing, I'm like, no, this isn't right. Something else is wrong. And then when we dug into it, the neurologist that I found, he's like, did you get in a car accident? I go, I may have something wrong with my brain, but I would have known if I got in a car accident. And he's like, no, there's something, I think, traumatic to your neck. All to say, he's like, oh, when they did another scan, he's like, you have a blood clot, but it's too late right now. They couldn't give you like TPA and all that. Mm-hmm. And he said, here's the good news and the bad news. He's like, the bad news is you could die any day because it could dislodge. But the good news is over time, scar tissue will develop.
Yeah.
So ride it this slow. Like, don't cough too hard. Don't run. I was training for marathons. Don't do this. And you couldn't have kids, is what they told me, because it could push the blood clot, the blood pressure.
Yeah.
So here's the start of my life, and I'm supposed to take care of patients like me. Mm-hmm. And what did I do then? I didn't deal with it. I just pushed everything aside, masked all the symptoms by taking whatever I could for nausea. I used to get homogeneous hemianopsia, which means, for people listening, the left side on both of sides of my eyesight would just go away. And I'm treating people, and I'm like, this probably isn't a good thing. Yeah. But I just kept enduring through it. And so as I went on, life got, I got back up on my feet and kept going. And then I don't even know how much longer, maybe like 15 years later, I'm running a company here in Arizona, actually, and happened again. And then got back up from that. And not even 4 years, 3 years, I think, after that, the third one happened. I was traveling with the Phoenix Suns, and that was the worst one. And I knew it was happening, but here's the difference. By the time the third one came and it was the worst, I handled it the best. I was much more prepared. Everyone that I've helped over the years was on mental resiliency, bouncing back. I connected to my mission, my vision. I knew my purpose. I understood resilience on a higher level. I understood that you have to deal with something in order to get through it. And so I was much more equipped, and I did the work that I'd been teaching, and it worked. And while it was hard and I had some tough moments just emotionally, just because like anything, when you go through hard over and over, you're like, Uncle, could we have a little break? Could we have some runway? Yeah. And I took a hit in a lot of ways from it, but I also knew I'd get back up. And that's what birthed the book, The Art of Bouncing Back.
Oh, what a story.
Yeah.
And just to unpack all that, I'm curious, you were an OT, an occupational therapist, your background, working with patients, you saw all this.
Oh, yeah.
And then you went through something actually quite similar. How did that change you? Like being in the body and experiencing what these patients had?
Even before it happened, I used to leave the hospital and they'd say, have a good weekend. And I would see someone who literally was like you and I, and a car accident happened and changed their whole life. And I'm sitting there going like, they can't leave this hospital bed. They are told maybe they'll never walk again. And they're telling me to go have a great weekend. And from perception-wise and emotion-wise, you're thinking, I want to, but I feel so much for my people, my patients. And so I already felt what they felt. And then when I went through it, I was like, why do I actually, I knew I felt it before, but why did I have to feel this? And then as time went on, I realized I'm a better therapist and coach and advisor, especially now, both business and life, because I've run businesses, I help people in business, I've helped people in sports, and you understand so much more when you've been through it. Yeah. And there's so many things people come to me on that I'm like, yep, I could understand that, or I felt it, or I've helped someone through it. So I have an appreciation. I didn't like it when I was going through it, but everything's hindsight.
I'm curious, what came up for you? Was there a belief system or the fear of dying? That's huge for people, but what came up for you that made it so difficult to move through that experience?
So almost at first, not difficult, probably because when I was told I could die, I was kind of this kid that I was like, I'm going to go change the world right when I was little. I ran for student council in 6th grade. Yeah. Not because I even knew what student council was. I was like, what is this? And if you run for this, can you make change? Could we fix what's going on here?
Yeah, let me do this.
Yeah, it's 6th grade. They're like, yeah. I'm like, great, I'm running. I'm going to help people. Okay. And so I was president of my class. I was, went on, and I've always tried to be the spokesperson to help people find their voice. I'll be the voice and jump on my back. And I love the underdog. I'm like, they told you couldn't, let's go. Yeah. So when they told me I could die any day, I kind of looked at the doctor and I was like, and he kept telling me, don't do this. Everything was no. And in that moment, I thought, this is what you do to my patients. And I understand from a legal standpoint, you can't overpromise, but they were like, you possibly won't be able to do this and won't be able to do this. And I used to walk in the room going, stop that limitation.
Yeah.
And I said, whatever they said, they have to, but we're going for hope. And hope stands for hold on, pain ends. Like, we're going to get to the other side of this. Wow. And when they told me I could die any day, then I said, well, sugar, let's go friggin' live. Let's go. I was like, first I'm going to change healthcare because this is broken. And I tried that, and it's still broken. And I left that. I said, I'm starting my own practice now. But I still have this gumption for life where I'm like, if any day we all could go, then I'm not going to have fear of a human and what they think and their limitations. And if they tell me I can't do it, I'm going to try. And I've always been that person, and we have seen through example after example after example, everyone that was told they couldn't. It's a human being. For everyone listening, humans try their best. Mm-hmm. And someone could see someone and see the potential, and someone could see someone and not see it. And that doesn't mean the person doesn't have the gift. It's just when one person realizes it or not, and it's got to be you to realize it first.
Yeah.
And then someone else in the world will come along and see you too, but it's got to start with you first. Absolutely. And I'll count on me every day.
I'll count on me every day. You said this is like, you are that person.
Yeah.
Are we born that way? Like, what was the molding? What created Dar to be able to be so resilient through that?
I do, in study of science, for sure, certain personalities are born more optimistic than others.
Okay. Yeah.
They are. It's just genetics. So I definitely think, thankfully, I have a little bit extra dose of that. And then also the work that I do. I've just seen so many people overcome the odds, reach greatness. I mean, even in the Super Bowl, they said Jalen Hurts, oh, this guy, you should never bet on him. He'll never bring a team to a Super Bowl. Oh, okay, hello.
Look what he did.
Yeah. So there's so many underdogs that made it, and I just believe in it, and I believe in people. I believe everyone has the potential for greatness.
Yeah.
They have a gift with them. It's just whether they answer the call to stand up to it. Yeah.
So tell me about that. Like, when you're working with an athlete or a CEO, or even just like someone creating a business, trying to scale something in a company, where do you start? Like, where do you start with their mindset and how mentally resilient they are?
I always start with this assessment that gets me to understand their flow state, their genius zone.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So this is an assessment that starts to kind of look at personality, but also looks at the question is asked to them. Yeah. Where do you flow and where are you happy? Okay. So it'll be these weird words that you'll get, like ground, transform, ignite. Yeah. And I'll coach people and say, are you someone who loves to ignite ideas, cultivate ideas, ground people? Do you love when you get to transform something? Because the more you ask the question of what they love and where they flow, you start to see them light up. And where you see people light up and where they could lose time and it feels effortless, that's the zone we're going to. That's where I'm going to lean in with them, and I'm going to help cultivate that. Okay. So that grows. And we'll be aware of maybe some challenges, but that's where you get people to help you on your team and around you. I'm not going to make your weakness stronger. I'm going to take your strength and make it strong. Okay. And I'm going to help you get people where you're weak to help support that. And that's how you create team. That's how you create unity. And that's how you create strength like this. You don't create strength trying to just run into each other. Right. We fill in each other's weakness and we become one. And I help them by taking their strengths and their flow state and making it stronger.
Wow.
It's so cool.
So, and you obviously went through that personally. Like, how did you find your strengths and your gifts and lock that in? My mentor, Laurie Beth Jones, who created this formula, she taught me, and I went and got licensed in this. And for so long, I have felt like an outlier because I see things big, really big. It's not, everything in me is like, how'd they do that? Why did they do that? I'm so curious. Yeah. And I see potential, and I'm probably delusionally optimistic, but I am realistic. I could just see where people go. I could see where they're going to go, what their potential is, and if they're willing, I'll help take them there. And this woman saw that in me. And when she does this assessment, just to give you perspective, the assessment goes 0 to 100 on certain states you are. Okay. And most people are like in 50, 60. My win state, which is the creative state, is 96. So I'm off the charts in my flow state, which is not normal. And so she said,
You know why you don't feel like most of the world? Because you're not like most of the world. You're actually off the charts. So 2 things. One, it's going to be a challenge because you're going to see excellence and optimize in a way where everyone else is going to think you're crazy. But there's going to be a crew of people that you're going to feel normal. And that has played out to where you're one of my people, like where we've gone on a trip and we're like, we're the outliers here. And that's allowed me to go into this work right now where I get to work with the 1% of the 1%ers in business and life. And they're normal to me. And we think so big and we're like, let's go for it. Whereas other people on day to day are like, this is exhausting. Like, why do we have to? When I say raise the bar, I don't mean more. I mean, just do what you do really well. Work on your craft.
Ooh, I love
and
that.
also I want to say, people ask me all the time, how did I get where I am? Where I am today and getting to work with the 1% of the 1%, I got here because I kept working on my craft and just believed in what I was doing. And I didn't chase anything. It attracted. And I really believe, I want people to know, flow is not forced. Yeah. You will attract everything that's supposed to come to you. Work on your gift, work on your craft, stay in your genius zone, and let what's supposed to come to you come. And it's going to be a beautiful ride. And it'll be hard, but you're in your flow state, so you could do hard easier. And I just want people to be authentically them, work on their craft, be their best version, and then watch the magic just come to you.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
There's a quote I heard from you, I think it was on another podcast, but you said, people don't know who you are because you gave up.
Yes.
And it gave me chills because it's like there's so many things that we want to do and we want to create and build.
Right.
And when we don't do them, it's just, it feels like we are a failure.
Right.
So can you speak to, you work with this 1%, but again, like we are surrounded. We do interact with everybody. So you have to understand that like, okay, not everyone is going to be a top tier athlete.
No.
Not everyone's going to be a CEO. I would love if there were kinfolks all over the freaking country.
Me too.
And we're working on that.
Yes.
But it's like, I'm not going to give up on that dream.
Right.
So speak to like, it's enough to just keep going. If you don't hit the ceiling, that's fine. But there's life
just
and there's energy in the journey.
Yes.
And so speak to like just even a mom creating a business and raising 3 kids. Like, how do you tell her, like, don't give up?
Oh, well, first I just want to say, you are the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And you are so beautiful in what you're doing. And you're doing one of the greatest gifts, which is to raise up another life, is unbelievable. And when we do it with love and we do it where you're working on you, so make sure you're getting oxygen because they will learn, just like I learned from watching my mom, they will learn from you. So take care of you, work on you. And again, when I say 1% too, that doesn't mean you have to be the one that goes and changes the world. Be the 1% that chooses to show up and do the work. Be the one that chooses to emotionally evolve, physically evolve, mentally evolve, so that your children could see what true health, true wellness, and true love looks like for self and others. That's how you start to become the 1%. It's not in how much you create in finances or if the world gives you accolades. The world never even has to see this, but the people in front of you. Are you doing your best with the gift you've been given? And are you taking care of yourself? And then are you loving big? Love big, serve big, and we'll win when we do that.
Ooh, I feel you bring such a dynamic energy to not just like the mental aspect, but also the emotional aspect.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me, like with athletes, I mean, I've worked with athletes too, but they might be a lot more in their head and just more result driven and data driven. How do you get them to get into their heart?
So I start off right away when we start connecting. I just get to know them. I say, let's share a meal. Let's start talking. And they, of course, you want to talk about sport, but I said, I got to know who you are. I need to know who are you and what do you want and what drives you, even outside the sport. So once we build trust, then I could see what lights them up. And then I'll say to them, hey, on this journey, there's going to be things that performance can't get you there, but purpose will. So what's your purpose? And how do you feel about this? What things light you up? When you feel something and you get angry, how do you handle it? So I start to teach them that there are emotions you're feeling. You might not have identified them. Let's identify what emotion is. we won't always let emotion drive us.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want you to pull yourself out of a game because you're angry. But then I'll say, you know, who are the people you love? Then we start talking about love. And so it starts getting woven into just our journey.
Yeah.
So that then there's a time. So today, specifically, U.S. and Canada are playing in hockey, and I have someone I'm preparing for the game. And I said, how's your heart? That's how I started this. How's your heart today? And then how's your mind today? How are you emotionally feeling? And they said, I'm emotionally locked in. Feel great. Heart's great.
Wow.
There you go. So if it wasn't, I'd say, let's talk about it. Let's get it ready. Because the last thing I want is for you to go try to perform carrying a weight.
Right.
And a mental and emotional weight that we could have released. If it's something quick we could release, because it's fear, it's comparison, it's pressure, we could release that and then you could perform better.
Yeah.
But if we don't talk about it and we don't release it, how am I going to help you be lighter? How am I going to help you? I need you in flow state. Flow state is when there's no weight on you.
Wow. And you feel working with people, the weight usually is an emotional cord, right?
Yeah. It's emotional. It's even approval. It's needing, you start carrying this weight of, if I do this and I perform here, then my family's finally going to approve of me. My friends, the people around me, they're finally going to approve of me. And you have to say, I mean, I've experienced this. When I left to go start my own practice, my family thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
And for a hot minute, I was thinking, gosh, if I, you know, they don't even approve of what I do. And then I thought, well, I'm not doing it for them. And for me, mine was so big picture, God-driven, truly. It was a calling. And I mean, it had to be a calling because I had no business plan, no client, and no money coming in when I started and was speaking for free. And I left a lucrative healthcare career for a calling. And I betted on myself, but I bet on the mission and I bet on the person calling me to it. And I said, okay, now I'm going to go. And I wasn't looking for approval. And the moment I stopped looking for approval, I was in flow state.
Wow.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, you're tapping into something that's
way bigger.
Yeah.
It's
way
source
bigger.
on the highest level. And, you know, I always joke around. I'm like, I think a vortex just opened, something open. Because you know when you're in it and you're like, it's flowing. But also the work's been done, so flow. And the right people come around. And when, again, all of this energy is in the right state and it's healthy, there's so much. It really is like getting on a ride and you just increased your speed.
Yeah.
Because we could go farther together than we can alone, too.
Absolutely. I love that you said, like, there's prep work. You have to do the work,
You do.
right, to show up in alignment.
You do.
And then the energy will just take you, right?
Because if I wanted to come along and serve you and be in space and optimize and all that you're doing and just give you and even encourage you, but if I'm not in my right state and in my right place, my energy is going to come in and you're going to feel it and it's going to feel like a weight and you're going to be like, I love you, but I can't bring you on this train with me, Dar, you know?
Yeah, you're slowing it down, right?
And that's an important lesson too, that there's certain people on this journey that are going to stay on the ride with you and there's certain that you have to let off the stops along the way. And that's hard. But as you're evolving, if there's certain people that don't want to evolve, and just because they're not ready, it's to say, it's okay, but I've got to go. And so you work on it. And when you're ready, you're always going to be welcome on this ride with me. I love you.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not healthy enough.
Yeah.
And so, and listen, I tell people, I've been in that space too. And I've known when I've had to sit back and do the work, and then I could join along.
Yeah.
And it's that honest, pure conversation where when I say it that way, it still may sting a little bit, but you're not going to be offended by it and you understand it because it's out of love.
Right.
And then you say, wouldn't you want me to flourish? Because I'd want you to flourish. So, like, we got to be in our healthiest state.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. So tell me about this mental resilience. You know, how do you help people build their mental resilience?
Don't be afraid of hard.
Okay.
Number one, don't be afraid of hard. And you could start to do it. There doesn't have to be a life catastrophic thing. It starts to happen in your daily habits, your daily routines. Start to see in your day, where is there a moment, even a difficult conversation, that you're like, oh, I'm about to retreat because this is uncomfortable. Lean in. Have it. There's a moment where the alarm goes off and you're today. Yep. I literally came from a workout, so but I came straight from a workout. But there was the moment I woke up today and I was like, do I text my friend that I'm working out with and say, hey, I really got to get myself ready and, for this podcast and get a little bit more time? And I thought, no, Dar, like, get up. You know this is going to make you feel better if you work out, which usually it's a non-negotiable.
Right.
But there's that moment where I could have stepped into ease and had a little more time. But by pushing it and doing a hard workout, I have way more energy, and I showed up with more energy, and I set my intention before I walked in the room too, that this was better, but I leaned into the hard. And even in that moment, there was I was like, do I add more weight to this? And there was a moment of like, you could stay at this. So I sat there and said to myself, oh, okay, because we're going to go easy. No, add the weight on. I knew I could do it. I could handle it, and it would challenge me. It could be where you go do a cold plunge. Yeah. Anything where you start to feel healthy tension, lean in. And hard is going to help you build resilience and grit. So if you could do it in your daily habits, you start saying to yourself, oh, like I can do hard. Yeah. And it starts by allowing your brain to know that you don't give in to easy. Because if your brain knows that there's loopholes, neuroscience proves this. If you start training your brain to say, yeah, she says things, but she doesn't keep her word. Yeah. Oh, it believes it. And then absolutely. It goes, no. And what happens is it starts feeding it going, you don't have to do it. You could hit snooze. And then it knows you're going to lean into it. So I say your brain is the greatest computer system. But remember, you're the programmer. Right. Start programming it that this is who we are. We are someone that keeps our word. We are someone that endures hard. In a speech that I give, Made for More, there's a point that I make. I want you to, if you can identify with anything, identify of being an overcomer. When you see yourself as an overcomer, when hard comes, you go, all right, this is hard, but who am I? Yeah. I'm an overcomer. I am the hero in the story. I'm the one that gets to the other side. I'm the one that they're going to remember because I got back up, not because I stayed down.
Wow. I mean, I love this language, and I'm just eating up everything you're saying. But people do sit there, and they can't see themselves that way, and they can't feel themselves that way. And it must break your heart because I see you see potential in everyone. Yes. Right? But it's like, how can those people take one step? You know, do they watch a documentary that pumps them up? Like,
oh, yeah, that will always help.
Right?
Watch Rudy.
Yeah. Watch things or look at things or surround yourself with things that are challenging other people so that you get inspired. Like, what does it take? Is it inspiration? Is it?
You just said a great point. Really a first step could be do inventory on your circle. Yeah. So say one of your goals is like, gosh, I just wish I could get healthier. But the people around me don't eat healthy, don't work out, gossip, negative. It's just negative. Everything around it's pretty negative. Okay, well, I love them, but maybe I need to engage in a circle that I meet up with once a week, then twice a week. Then as I'm around them, it's just their natural behavior. And energy is transferable. Totally. So when you're around it, it starts transferring to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, so when you go to get lunch, well, of course we're going to True Foods. Yeah. I'm not going to the Cheesecake Factory. No. Like, it's great, and plus it's got too many options.
Yeah, way too big of a menu.
Way too many. Life, by the way, too many options, not healthy.
That's a good point.
It's hurting dating, hurting relationships, hurting your health. But all to say, just start looking at your circle. Definitely watch videos. So every morning when I get up, I listen to something, podcast, or watch something on YouTube. Great. Because I can't give what I don't have. So I'm listening to a podcast, I'm listening to a show, I'm listening to maybe a sermon, I'm listening to wisdom, I'm putting on Wayne Dyer. I'm seeking guidance and inspiration every morning. So I mentally fuel myself right from the get-go. Yeah. And I habit stack it. So I'm getting ready and I'm listening to something, or I'm in the car, or I'm walking. And I am constantly finding ways to fuel myself. What is the music I'm listening to? What do I need? So sometimes I want hip hop. Yeah. Sometimes I want Noah Kahan. Sometimes I want Frank Sinatra. Sometimes I want Red Hot Chili Peppers. But music is a great way to start to literally shift state. Yep. And shifting your state helps you optimize what you want to do. Because if you can't shift your state, that's why they tell you to get on a reformer and start jumping, a rebounder, and start jumping. Changes your state right when you move your lymphatic system and move everything. Shake, do something, put on music. We're not all saying this because we're crazy. Well, we might be, but we're saying this because it literally is doing something chemically and emotionally in your body. You're moving.
Yeah, you're creating some shift or change, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I love this, but I'm going to
Yes.
challenge it a little bit.
Yes.
We want to bounce back. We want to face adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Take me to a moment where, maybe we lose a loved one,
Oh,
or it's a big loss, or we're grieving something. Walk me through, there's no bouncing back. You didn't lose someone overnight, right?
No.
That's going to take time. So how do you stretch out what you know to, really grieve, really feel, but then also, get back on the horse?
I feel this obviously right as soon as you say it, because I lost both my parents, and they were my best friends.
Yeah.
And I miss them. But what I've done is started to, I talk about them all the time, so I celebrate them, which by celebrating them, it just keeps them going. And someone actually said to me, you still talk about your mom like it just happened yesterday, but you talk about her all the time. And I turned, I said, you talk about Tupac and you've never met him. You talk about Kobe. You talk about Princess Diana. We talk about people we've never met. And every year we have this celebration. I go, I will talk about the people that I've lost that I love. They are my people. I know them. But grieving, I think I had a little bit of help with this. Again, working in the hospital, you see so much stuff that it prepares you. But I don't know that anything could ever prepare you when the day the plug is pulled. Yeah. And ironically, my mom saw me take my first breath and I saw her take her last. And in that moment, it was surreal and hard and beautiful at the same time. And what's crazy is I had to give a speech the next day about living life. And this is 2019, so it was just before COVID. So things weren't virtual, and I obviously went virtual. I didn't show up, but I still had to give the speech because there's only one keynote. But man, did I have passion talk about living life. And I was I literally just said goodbye and saw my mom take her last breath less than 24 hours ago, and I'm here talking to you about living life. Some people are like, how the hell did you do it? And I thought, there's no way my mom would have not wanted me not to.
Right.
She would have been like, no, serve. That's how you're going to handle this too. Share the message. What did this mean? What do you learn from it? Yeah. So again, resiliency comes from me of I'm always looking at how do I take something and use it for good. And I was losing both my parents. I was not in a place where I could go take a month off. But I also work with people. When they lose someone, they're playing in the National League. Yep. They don't get to they don't have 3 days bereavement even. They have to go play that same night. It's a bizarre world. And so I say that grief is different for everyone because we all don't get the chance. I had to go coach. I had to go work. I was writing the book. Papers were due right when my dad passed, chapters. And there's no, can I hand this in later? No, there was no. And I was like, all right, well, we're going. But what I learned is this has got to be unique for every person. There's no cookie cutter process. Right. That when you feel it, so a song comes on, or there's a time, or you see something, pull off. Get off the highway for a second, even if it's for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Cry. Feel it. Write about it. Call someone about it. I usually call. I'm a communicator. And so I'll literally sit there and go, okay, it's my sister, or it's one of my friends. I'm like, this song just came on, or I just got this wave, or my sister and I have had encounters where we felt our parents with us, literally. And I'm like, I just felt them with me, and I got to call you and talk about it. And I'm sad about this because I miss them. But then we turn it to, but oh my gosh, how beautiful is this? Yeah. So I'm in a constant reframe.
Yeah, I love it.
But the reframing, I could tell you, is how I've handled all of hardship. I will feel it. I will experience it. I will talk about it. But then for me, I am an activator. I'm the wind. I'm 96. I have to be in motion. So then I go, okay, well, what are we doing about this? How do we serve it? And then I'll probably talk about it. I'll use it for good. I'll put it in a speech.
Yeah.
I handle it different. Someone else, one of my friends, she lost her husband. It took her 6 years. And she finally, I've literally known her for 7. So for 6 years of our friendship, I've only known her in pain. And I saw the light just come back on this past year. And it's so beautiful. but her journey just took longer.
Yeah.
And so there is no recipe, but I would say see it, feel it, know what works for you, and start keeping track of when you hit hard things, see how you could reframe it. See what helps you get back up. Keep track of what makes you move through it. Is it journaling? Is it coming and honestly doing service with you?
Yeah.
Like getting treated by you here. Is it getting it energetically to move through your body?
Yeah.
For one, it's going to be talking about it. For another, it might be painting. For another, it might be writing a song, running a marathon for them.
Yeah.
See how it needs to move through your body.
I love that. You're giving so much permission to, like, when you said pause and just pull
Yeah,
over, like
yeah.
listen to the sad song, feel it. You know, I just don't think our culture gives us the permission to feel and to be okay with being sad. We have these emotions.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there's the opposite of sad too. There's always the polarity of where we could feel and where we could be. So I think those emotions come in our life because they're reminding us of just the humanness.
We need it.
We
you
need
know?
it, yeah.
I need to feel the sad.
Yeah.
I've needed to feel all the things I felt, because then when I get days where I feel like my body feels so healthy, I like am in such like things are just flowing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of those days. This is so good. And I know they're not going to, it's not you don't get championship days every day.
Ooh. Yeah.
So when you get them, you're like, call everyone. This is awesome. Hello. And it just gives you this zeal for life.
Yeah.
And it honestly, think about it in sports. No teams wins a championship every year. They hardly even go back to back, and there's some that never win them, ever.
Right.
But we're all in search of feeling that feeling.
Yeah.
And like the most beautiful way, not like chasing a carrot, but it's purpose. It's having those moments. It's when things all come together. Every day is showing up with our gift and hope. Like we're just climbing to get to the top of Camelback to like get that feeling of just like you did the work, enjoy it. But no, we're going to be climbing again.
Yeah.
And then you climb again because it is in the journey. But I think I love being an entrepreneur because I've helped so many startups, been a part of it. I love the making of reality, vision to reality.
Yeah.
Because the journey, like I tell guys all the time, I'm like, you're the making of the next 30 for 30. Like, what?
Yeah.
And to everyone listening, like your 30 for 30 is going to be played out with your eulogy. I did it for my parents, and it's beautiful and hard, but you are a great story in the making. So like all of it, like a good movie is like the good and the bad. It's never like, oh, her life was perfect, right. Everything went great. Like, I'm not watching that movie. Hallmark, like, come on. As much as I'm like, I love it, I don't like it. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, and everything's perfect. And everything literally is perfect Pollyanna life. Like, that is so not real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Reality speaks so much more.
Yeah.
What we can experience.
I think a lot of people watch it because you're like, gosh, I wish that could happen.
It's a fairy tale, right?
Like, you're like, that feels nice.
Well, that's why we're like reality. Like, there's drama, there's engagement, there's polarity.
It's
like,
messy.
It's messy.
It's messy.
And embrace the mess a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, I love that. Okay, take me to, with athletes in particular, but I would say even the mom is the modern athlete in a way too, right?
Okay.
Raising a family, like they deserve their own, championship quarterback,
it's a marathon.
Whatever. It is a marathon. But take me through like when someone is like just pushing and grinding it out.
Yeah.
Because, they're expected to and they're held to a standard, or they themselves are a pusher and don't want to give up. They just want to burn the midnight oil and get through it. How do you help them like slow down and like pause and back off a little bit?
So you know what? I actually help them identify. I realize as a mom, business owner, entrepreneur, all the roles. Sometimes you're not going to get a week's vacation. You're not even going to get a weekend.
Yeah.
But what I tell people and I coach people is find the micro moments. I've had to do it my whole life. I know when I'm in season, traveling with a team, it's 9 months, 7 days a week, no days off, right?
Yeah.
Well, I need something. And I was like, I got to find the micro moments. Sometimes it was going outside and sitting on a bench, traveling city to city with the sons and got sun on my face for literally 10 minutes, because people don't realize you're in arenas and dark plains.
Yeah.
You're never even outside in sunlight for almost 9 months. It's bananas.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was like, micro moment. Or I would say, come on, let's go. We have 2 hours. Let's walk the city. Let's quickly go to a show. I was giving a speech in Orlando, and I called my friend and I said, what are you doing? She's like, I said, the next 2 days, can you get a babysitter? I said, because I want you to come to Orlando. We're staying in Epcot. I will get 2 hours and then 2 hours. Let's go be kids for 4 hours in between. So we stayed in Epcot, went to a dueling piano bar the moment we got in. And then the next day before the flight, we could have went to the airport. We had 2 hours. I'm like, no, let's go to Epcot. Yeah. And we played for 2 hours at Epcot. And it was like such joy. And so I embraced it. It was the other day, I had 1 hour free and it was going to be back to back. So I ran and did sauna, cold plunge, and red light really quick. And I optimized the hour because I was only getting that. So I was like, what vitamins do I need right now? And so your micro moments are just sometimes give you that little bit of reprieve that gives you that breath so that you don't quit as you're climbing the mountain. Yeah. A perfect example, when I first moved here and I climbed Camelback, I was like 10 minutes in and I'm climbing with a group. I don't even know. I showed up for this group and they're like, we're climbing Camelback, and they're all marathon runners. And I'm 10 minutes in and I can't even catch my breath. So I finally had to say like, hey, you guys could go, but I can't breathe. I just need to catch my breath. And someone goes, oh, thank gosh. Someone said something. And it's like we all needed a pause, just catch our breath. Because as soon as you do, then you get your endurance. You're like, oh, I could do this again.
True.
You go 10, 15 minutes. You're like, I just need to catch my breath again. Yeah. And the whole thing is you could easily say, you know what, this is hard. I'm just going to go back down. No, you pause, catch your breath. Take as long as you need, but keep climbing. So the same for everyone listening. You are sitting here right now. Your kids, you're just trying to deal with life, taking care, trying to be all things to all people. You can't quit. It's the greatest job you'll ever have. Just pause. If you have to go in your closet for a second, stay in your bathroom. You know how many times I've sat in my car and not gotten out because I just needed quiet? And pause for a second before I engaged back in the world. And that's sometimes all I needed. Or I go laugh or I watch. I'll even put on, I love animals. And so I watch dogs, a lot of videos of golden retrievers or something funny. Or I'll watch something comedy and just start laughing. And it just helps my state a little bit.
Yeah. Relaxes you too. I think watching animals.
It does.
It's so relaxing to see them in their element in nature.
Yeah.
So I love how you're not just so focused on like you need to be the best with like a result, but just be the best version of you and enjoy the process. What do you think are like the main qualities of that? Like what virtues, what things do I need to put in place just to be like the best version of Keiko?
I would say the first thing starts from starting to work on emotional intelligence and awareness.
Yeah.
Like, what is your body trying to tell you? What is it also when you come in, read the room of people? The best version of you is being aware when you need some oxygen, but also when you walk in the room and read it. Right now, does someone need love? Does someone need joy? Can you come in and be like, what's up? Can you bring your energy? Or do you have to walk in and be going, hey, let me read this. Like, it feels like something's going on. Do I just need to bring steadiness right now? Do I just need to bring presence and not talk? Do I just need to bring love right now? I think our world would evolve so much more if we had more EQ. We worked on our EQ. We're so performance-based and we're so drive results, but yet we're not aware of our surroundings and how we're showing up and what we need. And I want people to also, being your best version is loving more. Being aware of what someone once said, it's easy to love the people that are easy to love. But what about the sandpaper people? That rubbed you the wrong way. They were like, oh, well. And guess what? I mean, I lived so many years where I didn't even know what your political status was. I didn't know what your like what your interests were, but we came into spaces and shared meals, and I was like, what's your world? Like, I didn't have to agree with you. I didn't have to, but if you were just a good human bringing good energy to space, I'm like, you're welcome to my table.
Absolutely.
I invited the Uber driver. I was driving to a family dinner. I was showing up to surprise my nephew one time for his birthday and flew into New York, had an Uber driver. Of course, get to know his name's Emmanuel, and he has 2 sons he's raising by himself and comes from Africa. And he, I don't know, we just start talking, and somehow it comes up that he's never had apple pie. And I was like, wait, you never have had apple pie? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have 5 million desserts. We're Italian.
Yeah.
When you drop me off, it's my nephew's birthday. Come in and have pie with us. He's like, oh my gosh, ma'am, I don't even know your family. I was like, sir, my family is everyone's welcome. If you like food, come in. I said, you're a good human. They'll like you. So I come in, I said, hey, this is Emmanuel. He's my Uber driver and friend now, and he's never had apple pie. And so my aunt's like, oh my gosh, my sister gets him apple pie, and for the next 5 years, my sister sent him apple pies.
Wow.
And my book launch party that I had, it was everyone under the sun. Rappers, players, sports players, Congress, humanitarians, someone was a janitor, that someone was like, it was all business owners, all walks of life. And I looked out and I said, hey, if I ever get married again, this is who I want. And if I die, will you all come to this too? Like, it was a melting pot of great people, because I think if you want to have a great life, and if I could encourage people, it would be, don't be so judgmental, please. Like, don't be so rigid. I shared before with you, have a friend for every decade.
Love that.
I have friends that are 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 90. My friend who's 99 just passed, but that woman was healthy all the way to the end. She walked every sunrise and went to bed at the sunset, and she served people every day. And she taught me so much in her years, where the 10-year-old literally teaches me. She sees things so different. And my friend's daughter, who's 18, she's like 30 in her maturity. I thought, geez, if I was you when I was 18, I would have not made so many mistakes. But I learn from so many. And what does it do? It keeps me emotionally and mentally agile.
Totally.
I don't get rigid in one belief system and how you see things. And by the way, the next generation is seeing life so different. And when people are like, you know, it's never going to work. I'm like, do you realize the people before us were like, it's not going to work. This generation. Now, does the generations right now need to get a little bit more resilient? I definitely believe resilience is a good thing for them. Just because from a worldly standpoint, we haven't hit a lot of hardship. So by nature, they have a lot more comforts, but they are full of ideas. They are going to create the next inventions.
Yeah.
And when you sit with them, you see with people of all cultures, and you travel and you get out of your bubble.
Yeah.
You start to see that, you know what? We all have in common. We all want to be seen and heard and loved. That's what everyone wants around the world. Everywhere I go, everyone wants that. They want to feel like they matter. So guess what? You want to have a good life? Help people feel like they matter. And then in reciprocal, they'll help you feel like you matter.
Yeah.
Then it's good energy.
Yeah, you radiate that. You talk to anyone, I feel. I mean, you just bring people in. I remember even in Aspen. You just talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, what's your name, you know? And there's those sliding door moments, and I think you really take advantage of those moments, those little micro moments even, and having that just awareness, compassion, and love for people.
I love it.
I love it.
Honestly, I really believe I was not president of my class because I was the smartest. I would have been valedictorian if that was it, and I was not.
Yeah.
I never went to a clique. I played field hockey. That was a clique, right? There was cliques everywhere, but I was never in one clique. I'm still in my life. Someone goes, gosh, Dar, you're going to be 50 next year, and I want to help throw your birthday, but you have so many people. I don't even know where to go. I was like, because I don't do cliques. Like, it's not like there's one circle of people. Now, I have a great little inner circle, but it keeps evolving because I love people so much, and I don't want any human to ever feel like they don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if anything makes me emotional, it's that. I don't like how people look at people and they discard them because of how they look or what they feel or what they believe. And I'm like, that's a person with a heart. Yeah. And if they're not doing harm to the world, like, why are you making them feel like they don't matter? I feel like I see the visible in the people that see invisible. And I hope, that's why I love the underdog. I want all of them to be like, how do you like me now? Like, you didn't even see, and I've been working, and now all of a sudden they're like, who are you? And I've seen it my whole life. People treat people, and I'm like, don't do that. And that my mom, you'd come into a barbershop, you could have been the president. She's like, you're waiting like everyone else. Like, no one got extra. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you get to cut the fence here or the line, but the moment you got in her chair, you mattered. You mattered.
Everyone matters.
And I think that's also why I don't want anyone to feel like anyone's above them or below them, walk alongside them. And that for me is in my faith. Jesus did that. Jesus is a spiritual to me, like a spiritual, how people take spiritual guidance. He is someone that I take spiritual guidance from, in the sense of, I look at it like a wise prophet that, this is a person who sat with sinners, who sat with the people that were the outcasts. And he's like, sit at my table. I'm like, hell yeah. While all of you pretentious were like, oh, who are you? Who are you? And so, like, I brought this into my life where this is a funny story, but I was standing outside the locker room, and this player one time came around the corner and he goes, looks at me like I'm waiting there for autographs. And he goes to me, do you want my autograph? And I was like, no. And he's like, you don't? I go, no, you want mine? He goes, no. I go, well, why would I want yours? He goes, well, what are you standing here for? I go, well, I'm your mental skills coach. He goes, oh, sugar.
Oh, sugar. Oh, sugar.
I was like, ego might be the first thing we're working on. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go, right?
But I really want to do this show that's a docuseries on human behavior, but I'll save it for another time. Yeah. But I once walked by and I saw this girl crying because she touched one of the players. And I looked at her, I go, why are you crying? She's like, I just touched so-and-so. And I was like, so? Like, what? And I go, how about he just touched you? Like, he shook your hand.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, respect the game. Respect this person for the hard work. Like, this is worthy of respect.
Yeah.
But do not make yourself feel like you're any less than.
Right.
They have a stage that shows them more, but you have a stage of the people in front of you. Like, own it. I call it God confidence. Like, you've been given a gift, own it. Own it for all it is. Be a humble but confident person. Yeah. And I think women have a hard time standing in their confidence. I agree. And here's the thing. If you were going into surgery and you get a doctor and you say to the doctor, like, are you the best at what you do? You want to make sure they go, well, hell yeah, I am. You don't want to be like, well, I mean, I'm all right. Like, you're not operating on me. But yet, here we are as women every day, like, I mean, I'm all right.
Yeah.
No, like, work your craft. Make sure that truly you could say, yes, I'm working. And I feel at this point in my life, like, yeah, you've picked the best person. I'll come along. I could confidently say, if you pick me and you want me to walk by your side, I'm probably going to love you too much. Yeah.
I can validate that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And now you're going to be at my table and now we're going to share a meal. But I'm going to give you everything I have. There will not be nothing short of that. I could stand confidently in that. And like, what's wrong with that?
No, yeah.
So
it's beautiful.
I want people to just stand in their truth, love more, and show up so that making people feel like they matter.
Oh my gosh, we could go on and on. But
yeah,
where can people find you? Where can they find your book?
You could go to CoachDar.com. That has everything there. I will say I'm the most active on Instagram, the Coach Dar, THE, and then Coach Dar. I'll do some stories on there, some fun stuff that you won't see other places, but obviously I'm on all the social. I am on my website. You'll see I have master classes that I host a few times a year. The next one's May 1st. Come. It's where you get to spend a day with me that I don't normally get to pour into everyone, but I'll pour into you for sure for all that time. And I have weekly newsletters that come out.
Great.
everything's on there. Momentum series. You could get a video a week, like I'm pep talking you every week on things. But follow me on social. The book is on there. You can get it on Amazon. Just stay connected and let me pour into you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dar, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for being in my life.
Agreed.
If you like this episode, share it with a friend. For more conversations filled with awe and wonder, be sure to subscribe to the Vitalist podcasts. Till next time.